Hey guys, my name's Austin, and today is part 2 of our talk on dreams. Now today, probably we like a subset series where the next 2 or 3 videos will be talking about the same dream, maybe more. I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out. And if I can get it all in one video, I will, but I highly doubt that because this is a long dream. And I had it when I was pretty young, and I had it through when I was going through a stage where I was writing a lot, like books and such. So I'm going to be incorporating that into it because I honestly don't remember what was dream and then what was me extending on that dream and building it up and background information and other stuff, more detailed information. So this dream was, I was like 14, and to give you guys an idea of what was influencing me at the time, I was reading a book series called The Immortal Instruments, which was a vampire kind of series. It wasn't just vampires. There was werewolves and stuff like that. But anyways, so at the start of the stream, or what I remember, it's kind of a normal day going on. I don't, of course, like any dream, I don't remember how I got there, but in the dream I was older than I was. I think I was 17, so the age I am now. Which is kind of weird. But in this dream, everything was going a normal day. It was the afternoon. I was actually at my house, and like any dream, I actually had a sports car, and I am fairly sure it was a Mustang. Yes, Mustang GT500, something awesome, something I wanted back then. But anyways, so for some reason I decided that I'm going to go off, and I actually do not remember where I was headed, but in the weird way that dreams are, I skipped the normal sequence of day and night, and the next thing I really remember about the dream was it was nighttime. Now, this is where things might get a little bit weird. I was 17 at the time. I ended up going to one of my friend's house. His name for all interpretive, we'll just call him Casey. I go over to Casey's house, and my brother's there, and that's normal. Ryan and Casey normally hang out, and then I would normally meet them there. Or actually, at the time, I would be over there too. Now I would normally meet them there. But so I go over there, and everything is semi-normal. Things are a little bit whacked out of place, but being a dream, I don't realize they're out of place. Yeah, I don't really remember how I got there. But anyways, so I'm walking around, we're talking, doing our thing, playing video games. We're probably going to go ride our bikes later, go to the church and hang out and do all this fun stuff that we do. Boys of that age do. Probably, I don't know. We, very adventurous. So after we hang out and stuff, long process, we decide that we are going to go to this church, which it's in our neighborhood. We normally hang out there climbing. Not normally now, but we used to climb in trees, and then we would actually climb on the roof of the building. I thought that was dangerous, exciting, and fun. So anyways, this is what we're going to go do. And I'm going to go ahead and take a break and talk about the gameplay for a second. If you haven't noticed, this is Homefront. And I did do some editing. If you don't like the editing, that's fine. I found the fire effect, which allows me to put a pillar of fire in there for however long I want, whatever. So I decided to put that in. You'll see it 3 or 4 times throughout the video whenever I get a kill. It really isn't my favorite effect, but being that I just found it and I could use it, I was like, hell yeah, I'll use it. But whatever. And also another thing before I jump back into the dream, have you guys ever had your foot fall asleep, and your foot is so far asleep that when you get up to walk or you run somewhere, you almost fall over? I know it sounds retarded, but it happened to me today. So anyways, we'll jump back in the stream. So we finally get to the church. We climb up on the tree like we normally would. It is, I would say, early summer. About that time, we are all wearing shorts, t-shirts, and when I'm climbing in the tree, I slip a little bit, and I cut my leg slightly, not very much. It doesn't bleed very much, just a little bit of blood. But at the time, I was like, oh, this is bad. I cut my leg. So then we go on about because it's really not a big deal. I'm not really in any pain, nothing severe. So we keep climbing the tree, and then we drop down to the roof. And it's nighttime. There's a couple cars that go by. We are all sneaky like because we're scared we're gonna get seen or something, you know, retarded, and that wouldn't really matter. And there's the first fire effect. So then I look down and my leg is completely healed, which at the time didn't really mean anything. I was like, oh, that's cool. I guess it wasn't that big of a cut, but I remember seeing blood, and the blood's gone. So yeah, so I healed very fast, but isn't unusual for a dream because you can make anything happen because it's just really projections of your subconscious, in my opinion. I don't really know that for a fact, but whatever. So we're up on the roof, and then this is the first supernatural encounter that we have. We're sitting up on the roof, and, well, no, this is not not supernatural encounter. We have supernatural event that happens. We were sitting up on the roof, and we had done this several times, where we go to the peak of the roof, and the microphone just, so sorry, I'm talking louder and louder, but we get on the peak of the roof, and then we dangle our legs up, you know, legs off and look straight down. It's like 30, 40 feet up in the air. Pretty scary. And I remember Casey looking over at me and saying, I think I'm going to jump. And I was just like, what? You're not going to make it. You're going to break your legs at a minimum or maybe die. And he was like, no, I think I can make it. So I was like, well, that's stupid. You shouldn't do it. And he was like, I'm going. And he just leaps off. And he lands perfectly fine, like a little grunt, you know, like it wasn't comfortable or anything, like kind of like if you were to jump off something that was, say, 7 stories, something around there. Not 7 stories, 7 feet. You know where it hurts your feet, but it's not like leg shattering. You know, you kind of crouch when you land, and you're like, I don't really want to do that again, but I could. So anyways, he's clearly fine. He hasn't broke any legs, and this is a fall that should have either snapped both of his legs or even possibly killed him. So I'm like, what in the hell? And Ryan looks over me. He was actually behind us. I don't know what he was doing, but he comes up behind me and says, oh, Casey's down there? We better go. And just, like, steps off. Does a little, I don't know if you guys have seen Vampire Diaries, the show, but in the intro to the show, Stefan does this little jump off the roof. He does much like that. And kind of falls down and basically lands as smoothly as Casey does. You know, clearly his feet hurt or something, but other than that, he's perfectly fine. So then, I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can probably do it, right? So, disobeying all the laws of physics, gravity, and everything, I just kind of do this little push off with my hands and fall the 30, 40 feet and land. And it doesn't really hurt that bad. Like I said with Casey and Ryan, it hurts my feet, but nothing more. I'm like, I look over him and say, what was that? Why can I do that now? That should have broken my legs. And he just looks at me and says, what do you mean? We always do that. And at the time, I was just like, okay, going with the flow, you know. In a dream, you don't really consciously think that something's wrong. You just kind of go with the flow no matter what it is. And I honestly don't know why that is. Maybe it's because your subconscious is not fully awake, or your conscious, the part of you that makes rational decisions, is not fully awake. But whatever. Clearly, I'm not going to get this all in one video, so we'll keep going. I'm going to get to a climax and then stop and keep you guys on edge. And then maybe if I have a couple minutes, talk about some other things. But, okay, so last thing that happens is we walk to Casey's house. We go in the house, and he doesn't turn any lights on, which is weird. We just walk in the house, and so we're walking in the house, you know. I'm like, wow, this is dark, but I can see pretty clearly because the moon is shining in. It's a full moon and everything. And we walk through this front door. There's no lights on. We walk all the way to the back where not his living room, but his kind of game room where his PS3 is now. At the time, he didn't have a PS3. So we walk in there, and and there's a man standing there, but he's not really a man, he's kind of a shadow of a man. Later, I learned that it is a demon. It's not really a vampire. I would say vampire, but it's really not. It is a demon because he takes many shapes or forms. And that's going to wrap this up. I want to say thanks for watching. Go ahead and tell me what you like about this video, or if you don't like anything. But see you guys later, and bye.